All right. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We have a very special episode. That's why you see so many faces here in front of you. We have Mike Goldenstein, we have Travis Harvigo, and we have Matthew McDaniel here in with Courtney and myself to bring you a very special update on all of the new features that we have dropped in the last couple of weeks. So we're going to break it down for you. We're going to show you some of the most exciting ones. First and foremostly, I do want to say we will hold some time for questions and answers here at the end. So you have a chat box on the right. Go ahead and throw your questions in as they pop up. We'll reserve a little bit of time at the end, and we will go over those individually and make sure everyone's got their questions answered. Without further ado, I will go ahead and turn it over to Mike to tell us what's coming up.
Yeah, if you put it into context, it's really, truly amazing to think that this team has gone through 11 updates, 11 different releases here, where this is number 11. So you think about that, that's almost one a month. That's crazy when it comes to software development. We're very excited because when we're talking about the core values of ROOFLE, it's always innovative. We're always looking for the next thing. What's the next development? But again, you can have all the tech in the world, but if it's not simple, it's not easy to use, it's really hard to implement, right? So our second core value, besides being always innovative, we want to make it sure that it's profoundly simple, it's easy to use. And then finally, and most important, committed to quality. We're doing this so that we're not making mistakes, but we are a reflection of your roofing company. So when you are giving estimates through your website, how accurate, how dialed in are they? So if you're going to, I'm going to walk through a couple of these to let you know what you're going to see from Matthew. He's going to jump in and he's going to actually show you how this stuff actually works. But you think about how much of the accuracy and how much of the detail that we are adding to the instant estimator feature for your website. So you think about it the old way. We're talking about old way. It's only a few months away, a few months ago. But the old way is just giving you the square count, and then you have to kind of build in what you think might be a ballpark. Now we're giving you the steep slope. We've already detected it. We're not asking your homeowners to do it anymore. And now we're allowing you to charge for those steep slopes. So how can you dial in your estimate even better? Default slopes in the market. Now you can include a waste factor that's actually accurate for those structures. So you're not just giving one percentage and saying that's good. We're giving you suggested waste on those projects. So you're not having to go through and just guess. These aren't guesstimates anymore. These are getting closer and closer and closer to an accurate estimate. And then finally, price ranges. Again, I'm an online shopper. I like prices. But listen, some of the contractors, sometimes your homeowners, they want to see a price range. We now have that ability to do that. But remember, the way we're doing it is we're giving you the accuracy, and then you can do a plus or minus whatever percentage you want to show your price ranges. All of these things, along with a redesign in the rep quotes. For those of you who don't necessarily use RoofQuote Pro for your website, maybe you're also using it in the field with your reps. A whole new redesign for that, a lot more features to dial in those to make sure they're very accurate and consistent with those quotes. And then finally, and not the least of which, is also updated imagery. So we've got so many things. That's why I keep saying, and I was posting all the time, this might be bigger than the original release. We're so excited about this, and certainly the time of year. We're looking forward to an amazing 2024. Matthew, take it away. I want to see how these things work and all the new features.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. We are super excited. This is such a massive release, arguably our biggest release since we actually launched RoofQuote Pro. So it took a little extra time to get this one out. We're also excited for some awesome stuff coming up in 2024. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the meat of the presentation. And I'll be walking you through all the features pretty quickly. We do have a pretty extensive Q&A session planned, so save your questions or pop them in the chat. We'll get to them at the end of this webinar. So just to clarify, everybody can see my screen. You can give a little thumbs up. Awesome. So first thing you're going to want to do is configure all these new settings. So you're going to be an admin on the account or even a production rep. You're going to go to your settings and your portal. You're going to open up quotes. So this is a brand new tab, and we have two feature options for quotes. We have instant quotes and additional cost. So for instant quotes, this is going to be fairly simple, straightforward. As Mike mentioned, you can set a default slope selection for each of your markets. So in one market, you might have predominantly steep slope roofs. It's just very typical to have common slopes in certain areas, certain demographic areas. So you can actually set those for each market. And what's nice is we do have the AI suggested, or sorry, data suggested slopes. And for some reason, if that data is not available, then it will revert to your default. And then, as we mentioned, you can now turn on a steep slope charge. So during the instant quote, if any of the structures in the quote have a steep slope, you can go ahead and add an additional cost, which can be a per square or a fixed price. So that's especially important. As we know, labor is more expensive for steep slope roofs. So you can actually factor that into your instant quotes. And now this is a big one, a big change here. So now you can actually add waste factor. So previously, your instant quote price per square already included a generic waste factor built into the price. So by turning on add waste factor, you will need to go in and adjust your pricing to remove whatever waste factor you had baked into that per square price. And why this is important is now we can actually customize the waste factor per structure. So you're not stuck with kind of a generic 10% across all structures. And we have this brand new feature. It is in beta, AI suggested waste. So we actually have released our first AI initiative to be able to detect how complex the roof structures are using machine learning. And so what that's going to do is it's going to give you a suggested waste for each structure and for each material type that you have in your product selection. So if you have an asphalt shingle, if you have a metal roof, if you have a wood roof, it's actually going to give you suggested waste for each of those material types. And lastly, for instant quote settings, our price range. What's nice, it's not just say, show me 5-10% below, but you can actually set the price range either above your instant quote price, below your instant quote price, or in between. Which means if, let's say, you want to be on more of the high side, you might do the instant quote price as the minimum, and then you set a range from there. I would suggest keeping your range pretty tight as you can be, so it seems more credible to the homeowner. Obviously, if you do like a 15% range and they see such a big range, they're going to be like, how can I even trust this pricing? But even so, we give you the ability to set it up to 25% variance. So that is your instant quote settings. Very easy to set those up. Just takes a quick minute. Now I'm going to go into additional cost. So the instant quote settings are just that. It's for getting your actual instant quote, which takes seconds, to be as accurate as possible, whether the homeowner is completing it on your website or whether you're completing an instant quote through RepQuotes. So now we have the ability to go from instant quote to a final price. And in order to get there, you need to be able to set up this additional cost survey. What this is going to allow your reps to do is go into any quote and add additional cost items that we cannot detect in an instant quote. Most of these are going to be labor items, such as does it need chimney flashing or skylight flashing? Does it need new decking or new layers? So there are pretty standard items that that are typically involved in every quote that we can't detect in instant quotes. So we actually give you all those as default questions. You could turn off or on any of these questions that you like. So for instance, I want to add a multi-story charge. So if the roof is higher than 2 stories above ground, I can add an additional labor charge for that. And if the roof has multiple layers, I can give a price per layer, and so forth. You can also create your own extra cost questions. These are just custom items. One really good example is upgrades. So I can actually put in a list of different upgrade options. And so as my sales rep is finalizing this quote, they can go in and really simply fill out a extremely easy questionnaire. And as they're doing that, it's going to firm up that price. Now I'll give a demonstration of exactly how this works. So in order to do so, I will put in an address. So this is a demo site, demo account. I'm going to pop in an address here. And as you see, we've got 3 roofs on the property. I'm going to go ahead and not include that roof and just do the detached garage and main structure. And a couple of new things you'll see now. We have a little bit redesign up here. It's essentially over. It's a detail of each roof structure, the slope and the complexity, and then the price will also be adjusted for this roof involved. Will also have a steep slope charge that's already factored in to this cost. So I'm going to go ahead and hit get final proposal. You also notice the price range here. So you're able to set that price range. So now as a homeowner, I'm pretty much finished with that flow, and now I'm waiting for my proposal to be sent. So now as a sales rep, now I can actually go in and open this quote and customize the quote to get to a final price. So here's the new test lead. I'm going to open up the details. Should all look pretty familiar. So on this left side now, you'll see that we do have this suggested waste, which is on a per structure basis. And we could see that they're interested in this DaVinci product. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my quote. And now previously, I had no ability to change the total square feet, no ability to customize a waste factor, and no ability to add extra cost and even discounts. So now with this new release, you're able to do all those things very easily. So let's start with the total square feet. So this job, I automatically ordered an Eagle View for, so I went ahead and popped that open, and I can confirm the total square feet for each structure on the report. Looks like it came in very close to the instant quote, but I can still make adjustments as I need. I'm just going to select custom and just match those up to my report. And then same thing with waste factor. I can go with the AI suggested, or I can actually set a custom. I think the main roof is a little bit more cut up, so I'm going to go 20 there. And for the smaller roof, it's actually a 9 on the Eagle View report. So there, I went ahead and customized my square feet and waste factor. Now it's as accurate as it possibly can. We've verified the data through our Eagle View report. Now I want to go ahead and add these additional costs. And see how easy it is. I can either look at the imagery, or I can be on the phone with the homeowner to get this information. And we know there's one chimney on the roof. Let's just say there's one skylight. You can see here on the right side, it's actually totaling up this additional cost. Roof condition stuff, a lot of these won't have an extra charge. It's just kind of conditional notes for your team. Existing roof, does it need new decking? Let's say I just need 3 sheets. And here's some upgrade options. So let's say I want to add aluminum gutters, and this is a per linear feet charge. And you can actually do this for each roof structure. So I have here this main roof, and I also have the third roof, which is really advanced. You can actually get that detailed for each structure. So that way you're not grouping in all these different extra costs as a whole with both structures. You're able to break that out. And for discount, now we can actually add a discount. You can do a percentage, or you can actually set a fixed price discount, and you could choose what to discount. Do you want to do the total price? you want to just discount this additional cost, or do you want to do a specific item? So let's just do 5% off total. And so now I have a section that that lays out my additional cost. I've also got the discount. And what you'll notice now is under package details, as long as I have this additional cost included, the additional cost actually comes off of the product. So note that additional cost is now already figured out. And you can see that if I turn this off, I go back down here and it's saying, yep, here's your instant quote, but these items might cost extra. And so with your sales rep being able to add those, now all those fall off, and now you've got essentially a final price. So let me go ahead and turn off the price range, and there you go. Now I can actually email this final price. What's really nice is you can customize this entire message. So really you can add links to resources, let's say your legal terms, pretty much get as detailed as you want in this email. Select your products that you want to send. This is the roof they're interested in, the details. I'm going to go ahead and send it. And now the homeowner will get an email with that final quote information. So that is the main overview. I do want to cover one last thing. It has to do with products customization. So originally we set up the settings to be a company-wide settings, but you can actually customize each product card to have different settings. So let's say for one product, I want to show a range, or I don't want to show a range. Let's turn the price range off for this product. I can also set a different waste factor just for this product, or a different steep slope charge just for that product. So extremely advanced customization. You can see how this is really powerful. Let's say you have some fixed price custom products like a service repair or rejuvenation. And so for those items, maybe you don't want to include additional costs. So when you're filling out the additional cost, you don't want to add those costs to this product because it just doesn't make sense to do so. It's not a roofing system. But let's say you also want to not include a price range because this is a set price. You're sure on the price. There's no variance, and so forth. So complete customization on the product level in addition to the company-wide settings. And that's pretty much the overview of the main core features. We also have some new imagery, which we're pretty excited about. We are continually measuring and testing and trying to get the best imagery for all of our clients out there. So with that, I'll toss it to Travis. He's going to give some expert tips and just kind of recap on how this can be super effective in transforming your company's sales process, lead process, and so forth.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew, for showing that to everybody. Super excited about this release. I know that I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That I think this release is as big as the original release we did back about a year ago of the actual product itself. Basically, advancing further down what we've talked about, kind of that e-commerce path or that virtual sales path, or really just being able to give the homeowner ultimately the things that they need or that they want. We did discuss a little bit about the updated imagery. That's is a huge improvement for more of our rural customers. Customers who have our technology maybe in areas to where it's outside of the cities, you'll see a massive improvement to imagery that is much more in rural areas where you actually be able to see nice structures and things like that. So we're always working on the best imageries for the best locations to try to get the most accurate data we can for everybody that's out there. But some of the things, that we've heard from our contractors over the last year, and as we've listened to them and we've now developed these features and released them to them, but talking about really what we want to do is making the what we call the ultimate top of funnel tool even better. essentially a bolt on to maybe what you're existing, what you're using now. But ultimate goal is just get the traffic to your site, or maybe you already have the traffic to your site. On average, about a 1% conversion rate across the industry average as far as conversions. So give the homeowner ultimately something that they can interact with to help with that conversion rate. Once we get them to convert, use our webhooks to be able to push the information over to existing CRM or maybe other sources such as automated text, automated emailing. Let's get that speed to lead going. We want to get to that customer as soon as possible before somebody else does, so we can set that appointment or continue them down that process of getting that appointment or even getting that virtual sale completed. Really from there, then we talk about, the rep quotes part of it, as far as, using this in the field, using it as rep quotes to be able to kind of generate and kind of complete that, very instant, bid or proposal that we talk about, or quote, to be able to get that into their hands where they can actually see kind of really what their final price is. So kind of all these features kind of wrapped in one, of being able to kind of get to that end source that we've been talking about. And I'm extremely excited about what we've actually released here and be able to get to the contractors' hands, because they've been asking for it. They want to go further down that virtual path. And now with a lot of these features, able to kind of continue on down that virtual path.
I love that. Thank you for that insight, Travis. It's very exciting to see how much we're able to respond to recommendations from our contractors. Since day one working at ROOFLE, I heard people asking for a price range, and we have a price range now. So many of these little aspects that people will ask about, and sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes they're a big lift. Sometimes they're an easy lift. But we do pride ourselves on listening and trying to make those changes effective, and usually pretty time effective as well, if we're allowed to be a little bit proud of ourselves here. Next thing that we are going to do is jump into a Q&A session. We still have a good bit of time available to us, so we can definitely address the majority of the questions that have come through. Anything else that pops up, or just anything that Mike, Matthew, Travis, Courtney, anything you just want to share, anything you're excited about. But let's dive into these questions. Courtney, I believe you're going to run us through that.
Yes, I do see that we have a couple questions here, and Matthew is in the process of also answering them. But the first question that we had was, can you change it to show linear feet instead of the quantity as the description next to the input box?
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and share my screen again and kind of demonstrate how you can do that. So under other extra costs, you can add as many custom questions as you wish. The answers can be basically you write out the question or the essentially the survey, what you want them to answer. You can have it where they can select multiple, and you can also set what the quantity measurement input is. So if it's per fixed, or it's per square, per linear feet, each bundle piece, or you can even create your own custom. So again, there's much flexibility and being able to do that. So if you want, you could actually turn off this new decking question, which is only based on the square or by the piece. And you could actually set it as a linear foot question. I prefer to do that. The other question, Courtney, you want to go through that one?
Yeah, it was, please show the what the customer sees when their contract or quote arrives.
So there's 2 emails here. So the initial email went out when they request the final proposal. You could see it says, we're working on your proposal. Here's your instant online quote. And you still see this additional cost going on, and a nice PDF of the quote. And then this is after we actually created the custom quote. So now I have this nice custom written section, Flavor Fred from Badass Roofing, put my info in there. And then now we can actually see additional costs, discount, and the total price.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Matthew. The next question that we have is, when will the quotes be on the same level as detail as Eagle View?
Travis, I'll let you take that.
That question could be broad, or, I'm assuming that they're looking at eaves, rakes, ridges, things like that as far as detailed. At this moment in time, EagleView essentially has a patent on the ability to be able to generate those things and present those to you. So it's not within the foreseeable future as us being able to present, that breakdown of those. But we hopefully, we continue to dial in all of our stuff that we can be able to show you to make things more accurate, as we move down this path.
Thank you. And then also with sheets of OSB or linear feet of 1x8. So I'm assuming, just like Matthew kind of showed, that can answer that kind of question there. If we have multiple geographical locations, will there be able to adjust prices per location?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think currently with this initial release of these features, the additional costs are set company-wide. So essentially it is for all your markets, but that is a fantastic feature request to be able to essentially set additional costs differently for each of your markets. That's definitely something that we can develop.
And then the next question we have is, how about leads going on there, putting fake email and names, but still get to see the quote? Also, I was told in the past that they will receive the 1 checkmark quote, and not all products, but most times there is no checkmark on anyone when we get the email lead.
Yeah, so go ahead, Travis.
I think they're referring to like knowing what the customer is actually interested in as far as like those check marks. So the homeowner doesn't have to click on, that next feature button where basically I think it either says like get proposal, email my quote, email me the details, that button that we have in there. They would have to click on that button to actually initiate that little check mark by there, showing you that they're actually interested in that specific product. So if they don't have a mark by there when the lead comes through, it means they never clicked on that box as showing that they're interested in that specific product.
And then we have, are customers able to add additional costs from the web portal, or is that something that can only be done through the rep or salesperson on the back end?
You guys have great questions. It is in planning that we are going to allow those questions to be answered on the homeowner side. So you'll be able to select which questions you want to include, and essentially it would be kind of like a checkout type experience where they get their instant quote. Now they can, you could say, take the next step, or, finalize my quote or something like that, which would prompt the questions, and essentially they would be able to answer those on behalf of the rep instead of the rep doing it. And just to go back, that last question I think we skipped regarding invalid contact information. It's kind of a balance. We could include validators, such as as aggressive as they have to text back a code in order to see the quote, or as light as just using an email validation service where we guarantee their email is legitimate and able to receive emails. The problem with that is the more aggressive you get with validation, the lower your conversion rate. So people do bounce. It's going to happen. So it is something we've considered introducing is contact detail validation, but it is kind of you're pinning it up against conversion rates. So
a lot of other contractors out there are utilizing the address only feature that we have, where even if they do bounce before giving you the information, or even if you do have the address, being able to use that in certain ways. One of them being a direct mailing situation to where you're mailing those customers, maybe the quote, that was generated, or, things like that, to be able to try to target those customers in other ways. Or if you have a canvas team or, field reps, being able to send them out, to that area to be able to go have a conversation, with that homeowner, knowing that essentially that they are interested in some sort of roof replacement, even if they gave you fake information.
And then lastly, we have, will you be adding the ability to sign quotes via email?
Yep, that is
Mike?
something that we're working on, along with we have a roadmap built out for the next few months that we're looking forward to, just like last year or this year, 2023, with I think it was like 100 features that we actually updated or released, but actually 11 releases that we did. We have a roadmap for our whole next year built out, and being able to have some sort of signable feature, email signable feature, is definitely on that roadmap as well to be released next year, along with some of the things that were mentioned during this webinar, such as getting these questions into the customer's hands to kind of get them more of a dialed in final price on that side as well. So you guys have had some great questions and some great feedback. Keep giving us feedback. Be sure to keep reaching out to our customer success team and giving them feedback, because we do listen to what you guys say, and we do continue to build a lot of things around what you guys do request.
And I think I may have missed one from Mike. It says, Matthew, do you have a logo to share for Badass Roofing?
Mike, with your Photoshop skills, I don't know why you're coming to me.
I'm on it. I'll have it done by the end of the week.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any more questions. We might give it another second or two, but I personally am super excited about the additional cost setting and what power that gives to a sales team. A sales manager can come in and adjust all of those custom costs, all of those additional items that they can add in, put that in the hands of a sales team, train them up to use it and get comfortable with it, and let those guys really take off. And let them dial that in with a customer. A lead comes in assigned to them. They don't need to go to a house. They can call that customer, start asking for extra information. They could get a lot of that information from Google Street View if they wanted to as well. It just really opens a lot of doors for a lot of potential for your sales team to really open things up and get into some new strategies and some new ways to pull those sales in and to finalize and get those detailed and make their lives a little simpler, not having to show up to so many houses. Does anybody else have something they want to close us out on?
I just want to give a thank you to the team. I thank you to all of our subscribers that have given us tons of feedback on what things that they would like to be built, what things are going to help them with their business. As being a former contractor myself, knowing the industry pretty well, but liking to know as far as what everyone is seeing in their markets that do give us feedback, and so we really do appreciate that as we continue to build out these amazing features to help contractors be able to move towards that virtual sales process and towards that e-commerce as we talk about. So super excited about this one, and look forward to many releases in 2024.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. This has been recorded. You will get an update in your email afterwards letting you know where you can go to find the recording of it. You can send it to other folks as well. We have a New Year's challenge that we, of course, want to bring up. The first 25 companies to place an order through Beacon Pro Plus integration will win a $250 Amazon gift card. So if you have some items in Amazon that you have been eyeing, go ahead and throw an order through Beacon Pro Plus and get yourselves entered into that opportunity to win. Lastly, we've got a couple more coming up. When this email comes into your inbox, you can follow the link to see the recording of this session, share it with other people that you know, and you can also see what else is coming up in January. We have a lot more coming down the pipe for you, as well as additional tutorial videos like we've been doing on a regular basis ever since. So without further ado, we will call it quits for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Travis, Matthew, Mike, thank you for brightening up the session today with y'all's company. Take care, everyone.